Number 5, the weaponization of space and AMP, the risk of interstellar war. For decades, space has been seen as humanity's final frontier, a place of exploration, cooperation, and discovery. But in the next 50 years, it may transform into something much darker, a battlefield. Major powers like the United States, China, and Russia are already developing advanced space technologies. What begins as satellite defense systems could quickly escalate into orbital weapons capable of disabling communication networks, targeting infrastructure, or even striking Earth from above. Some experts warn that we are heading toward a new Cold War, but this time, the arms race will play out in space. The risks are enormous. Imagine nations launching anti-satellite missiles, creating massive clouds of debris that render Earth's orbit unusable. A single conflict could trigger the Kessler syndrome, where chain reaction collisions fill space with junk, cutting us off from satellites, GPS, weather systems, and even international communications. In short, modern civilization would grind to a halt, but the dangers don't stop there. With the coming expansion into lunar mining and Mars colonization, disputes over territory and resources could ignite future wars beyond Earth. The Moon's rare minerals or Mars' potential water reserves might one day become the center of international conflict. If weapons are stationed in orbit or on other celestial bodies, humanity could face the terrifying prospect of interplanetary warfare. The line between science fiction and reality is blurring fast. Whether it's directed energy weapons, military space stations, or even nuclear devices positioned in orbit, the militarization of space could transform it from a realm of exploration into a theater of destruction. The question is, will humanity rise above its history of conflict, or will the next great war be fought not across nations, but across the stars? Number 4, genetic engineering and AMP, the risk of uncontrolled human evolution. For centuries, evolution was shaped by nature, guided only by survival and chance. But in the next 50 years, humanity may take evolution into its own hands through genetic engineering. CRISPR and other gene editing technologies already allow scientists to cut, alter, and rewrite DNA. At first, the focus may be noble, curing genetic diseases, preventing inherited disorders, even extending human lifespans. But once the door is open, how far will people go? Imagine parents designing perfect children with superior intelligence, enhanced strength, or even resistance to aging. The temptation to create designer humans could split society into two groups, the genetically enhanced elite and the unmodified majority left behind. This could spark a new form of inequality, one not based on wealth or race, but on biology itself. And the dangers don't end with ethics. Altering genes can have unintended consequences. One mutation introduced today could echo through generations, producing irreversible changes to humanity. In the worst-case scenario, genetic experiments could escape the lab, creating new organisms or even synthetic pathogens beyond our control. Some scientists warn that this could lead to a post-human future where natural evolution is replaced by artificial design. Others fear it could trigger societal collapse as humans themselves become fragmented into competing subspecies. The promise of genetic engineering is immense. It could eliminate disease and extend life. But if misused, it could unleash an evolutionary arms race that reshapes what it even means to be human. The real question is, will we control this power, or will it end up controlling us? Number 3, nuclear war and the risk of civilization's end. For decades, the world has lived under the shadow of nuclear weapons. Since 1945, these devices have represented the ultimate doomsday button, capable of wiping out entire cities in an instant. And while the Cold War may have ended, the threat has never disappeared. Today, 9 nations possess nuclear arsenals, and tensions between them are far from stable. From the rivalry between the US and Russia, to the fragile balance in South Asia, to new powers testing their capabilities, the possibility of conflict is real. Even a single nuclear exchange could kill millions within minutes, while plunging the survivors into chaos. But the greater fear lies in what scientists call nuclear winter. If hundreds of warheads were launched, the fires would send massive amounts of soot into the atmosphere, blocking sunlight and causing global temperatures to plummet. This could collapse agriculture worldwide, leading to famine that might kill billions, far more than the bombs themselves. And then there is the risk of miscalculation. History is filled with close calls, false alarms, malfunctioning systems, and human error that nearly triggered Armageddon. As long as nuclear weapons exist, the danger of an accidental apocalypse will always remain. Some experts warn that as new technologies like cyber warfare and AI become integrated into military systems, the chances of losing control over nuclear arsenals may increase. Imagine a hacked warning system or an AI misinterpreting a signal and recommending a strike. The potential for disaster grows with every layer of complexity. In the next 50 years, the survival of civilization may hinge on one question: can humanity learn to step back from the nuclear brink? Or will one mistake, one act of aggression, or one desperate leader push the button that ends the world as we know it? Number 2, population collapse and AMP, the fall of societies. When we think about the future, many imagine overcrowded megacities and a planet struggling to sustain billions of people. But what if the real danger isn't overpopulation, but the opposite, population collapse? Right now, fertility rates are falling faster than ever before. In countries like Japan, South Korea, and Italy, the birth rate has dropped so low that entire towns are emptying out. By 2050, experts warn that dozens of nations could see their populations shrink by 20% or more. By the end of the century, some countries may disappear entirely from the map, not through war, but through sheer demographic decline. An aging population means fewer workers, fewer taxpayers, and fewer soldiers. Entire economies could grind to a halt as the number of elderly skyrockets while the youth population vanishes. Healthcare systems will collapse under the weight of aging citizens, while pensions and social programs run out of money. Imagine nations where half the population is over 65, and there are simply not enough young people to keep society functioning. This crisis also fuels political instability. Countries with shrinking populations may grow desperate, competing for immigrants in order to survive. Others may shut their borders, fearing cultural collapse. Meanwhile, automation and AI might fill some gaps, but at the cost of massive unemployment and a widening gap between the wealthy elite and everyone else. History has already shown us glimpses of what population decline can do. The fall of the Roman Empire, for example, was accelerated by plagues and low birth rates. Now modern nations may face the same fate, not from barbarians at the gates, but from empty cradles in their homes. The most chilling possibility? If global fertility continues to fall, humanity itself could face long-term extinction. The world wouldn't end with a bang, but with silence, the quiet collapse of entire civilizations as birth rates drop too low to recover. Population collapse isn't as dramatic as climate disasters or wars, but it may be the slowest and most unstoppable force threatening our future. And in the next 50 years, it could redraw the global map, not through conquest, but through disappearance. Number 1, the possibility of global extinction. When we think about the future, we often imagine progress, faster technology, better medicine, and new frontiers in space. But there is also a darker possibility, that humanity may not survive the next 50 years at all. Extinction-level threats have always existed. A single asteroid, like the one that wiped out the dinosaurs, could crash into Earth with little warning. NASA tracks thousands of near-Earth objects, but even a rock just a kilometer wide could unleash a firestorm, block sunlight for years, and collapse global agriculture. Then there is the threat we created ourselves, nuclear weapons. Today, over 12,000 warheads exist, enough to destroy the planet many times over. One accidental launch, one political miscalculation, could trigger a chain reaction leading to nuclear winter. Billions could die not in explosions, but from famine as crops fail under darkened skies. And beyond the physical threats, there is the danger of human choices. Unchecked artificial intelligence, runaway climate change, or engineered bioweapons could all spiral beyond our control. In each case, the end of humanity might not come from nature, but from our own inventions. What makes extinction so terrifying is its finality. Unlike war or economic collapse, there is no recovery from extinction. It would mean the permanent silencing of human civilization, every language, every story, every dream erased forever. Some scientists warn that we are now in the most dangerous century in history. Never before have humans had so much power to destroy themselves, and never before has survival depended so much on our choices. Will we learn to cooperate, manage our technologies, and protect the planet? Or will the next 50 years mark not the beginning of a brighter future, but the end of humanity's story? The answer is still unwritten. But one thing is clear. Our greatest threat may not be the universe itself, but us. From climate disasters to AI, from population collapse to the risk of global extinction, these predictions sound like science fiction, yet they may become reality within our lifetime. The question is, will humanity change course in time, or are we heading straight toward these terrifying futures? Which of these do you think is most likely? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay with us as we uncover the future.